Everyone, I know this is a bit of a mix-up from what you're usually to, but I feel like I'm going to switch it up a little, so yeah. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be focusing on why you can't do the work and why you need to start now. You need to start now. And I'll show you what happens if you do and what happens if you don't, okay? Okay, so the first thing is you probably have a action in your life that is causing you to regress or stagnate. Now, this could comprise of multiple different things. And one that many of you most likely have is short form content. And many of you, I'm guessing many of you have this. And what most 90% of you will do is after you're done doing this, you are going to, drumroll please, go back to short form content. Okay? Now, why is this important? You might be asking. Well, imagine you have this fire. I know I'm not the best drawer, but imagine you had this fire. Okay? And this fire is fueled by your motivation. And your motivation is an emotion, and your emotion latches on to certain characteristics of reality. And one, your brain likes to choose the least resistance effort possible, and it does not want to be in pain, even though if that is short pain and you get pleasure later. It would rather feel pleasure now than to feel pain later. Okay, than to feel pain now. Okay, and it has many of these bad fuelers like short form content. So this could be one of its fuelers. Another could be vaping. Another could be smoking. Another could be sugar. All this nasty shit. Okay. And what this will do is this will decrease the fire. This will decrease your motivation to actually do the work because your motivation and your dopamine's kind of fucked because it's basically siphoning all the fuel that the fire is getting, aka your motivation to actually get up and do the damn work. And this is a kind of like a feedback loop because here's the thing: if you do not have the motivation to work, you simply won't work. He could bear a Y can bear almost anyhow. Okay, and if you don't have don't have the motivation to work, you can't exercise discipline efficiently. And it's just a flywheel effect, And what will happen is over the course of, let's say, a couple of years. So let's just say, we're gonna take this. So this is time, and this is, let's just say, like chance of success. I'm just gonna put money. This could be like lifting or anything like that. Okay, so maybe over the course of a year, maybe like a couple months, maybe like you'll still have time to be successful. You still have many opportunities. You still have many things to do, stuff like that. But over the time, and the more conditioning you give to these bad fuelers that are fueling your shit fire, is the less action you'll take. And the less action you will take, the less your reality is what you want it to be. Okay? Because you're just not going to have the motivation to work. You're not going to have the motivation to really do anything because you're kind of fucked. So over the course of time, oh wait, shit, don't worry about this. My bad. So your chances of success look pretty high. Like you're still young. You still have all this opportunity. You have your belief systems aren't fucked quite yet, but like they're kind of fucked. You're not really addicted to anything. Then you start to get addicted to stuff. You start to, and then it just down. You've heard? I'm pretty sure you've heard of the term midlife crisis. This is what happens. There's so much conditioning. There's so much dopamine receptors fried that it'll become nigh impossible for you to do the thing. And there's another principle that you might know from my other videos: second order consequences. So this is consequence 1, consequence 2, consequence 3, consequence 4, consequence 5. But then Then consequence 7 goes ballistic. You know, I think a better way to like describe this is kind of like, arrow, 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 arrow. It just goes exponentially. It's kind of like the opposite of this. And it's basically this graph. So you have one consequence, doom scrolling for the first time. Like this could be like just like the spark to like either your life being amazing or your life suffering. And this could be, getting a PS5 for Christmas when you were 10 years old by, this was one of like the core fuelers, and like your brain hops onto this, and it associates its motivation with this action. So then you hop on it more and more and more consequences, down, 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 until like it'll become near impossible to recover. And this is how most people, like have a midlife crisis and don't know what to do with their lives. So if you the one thing you should necessarily take away from this video is the best time to start is now. Do not listen, because here's the thing: if you remove all these fuelers that are making your motivation like shit, your motivation will latch onto the business, will latch onto trying to get the physique. Because really, over the course of a couple of years, what would you rather have? An amazing body or having like, I don't know, a KD ratio of like 20 in like Call of Duty over the course of a year, and you can really get a Call of Duty? You would obviously want the better body, but we don't like we're impatient. We don't see the immediate results, and we just quit. Because most people quit like here, and most people like and you should, when you're doing bad behavior, quit here. So really, what I'm trying to say is like when you take all this motivation shit out of the way, when your motivation becomes super strong, like when you like just remove like this shit, when you just remove all this shit, just get rid of it. This will just boom. Your motivation will go through the roof. This will become this little like spark that will just chain reaction. And this is all fueled by your discipline, okay? And it's a lot easier to exercise your discipline if all you have to do is the business. Because if you sacrifice the sugar, the short form content, the vaping, the alcohol, the parties, sleeping up late, all this shit, all this bad shit, you will have no other choice but to work on the business. And all 86 like billion neurons in your brain will be able to focus on the business. And this is just when it goes exponential. This is when it goes exponential. Like this, that is this. This is when your motivation is the highest. You would just, you know. So, yeah, I thought I would make this video. I'm just going to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, but I really hope this. I know my drawing's kind of shit, but I really hope this kind of motivated you to do the work. But I know most of you would just go back to short form content. So yeah. Also, there's a link in the description. It is he changed it, but it's basically a free program. Most of the videos in there are extremely helpful and have changed my life, and I hope they will change yours. And if you're really wanting to take the step to actually, have a business, be a millionaire, like actually be able to tangibly do this, click on the link below. It'll change your life. There's a big thing happening right now in the community. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day. And yeah, hope you found this video useful.